Hi there, Mark here again. I've cut my head out of this picture here, just so you can get a wee close up on my guitar tonight. We're going to look at just starting off with left hand legato. And legato basically means using hammer-ons and pull-offs to make the note sound. It gives a nice kind of smooth flowing effect, much much smoother than if you were hitting the string with every single pick attack, or every single note with every single pick. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start looking at basic kind of 3 note per string scale shapes, or just wee fragments, just wee kind of snippets of scale shapes. And basically, because most things that guitar players play will be 3 note per string patterns. Not all the time, but generally speaking, when you're first getting into this stuff, the 3 note per strings is very, very good for building up strength and stamina in the left hand. So basically, when you're playing 3 note per strings, especially in just major and minor keys to begin with, your fingers are only going to sit in kind of 3 different shapes on the guitar. You're either going to be using this kind of shape, so you've got the half step here, 1 fret and then 2 frets, or you're going to be using 2 frets and then 1 fret, or you're going to be 2 frets and then 2 frets, so 2 frets here and 2 frets here with the pinky. So that's really the only kind of shapes that your fingers kind of make when you're playing in these kind of major or minor 3 note per string patterns. Then it's just a case of mixing and matching with those patterns. So to begin with, we'll just look at some basic hammer-ons here, right? So the first kind of shape we'll look at is going between, we'll stick on the D and the G strings to begin with, right? So the D string and the G string, and we're just going to use frets 4, 5 and 7 on the D string, and same again, 4, 5, 7 on the G string as well. Now to get this hammer on sound right, we're going to just hammer with the left hand. I'm going to pick once on the first note, and we're just going to hit the left hand down, the next finger down onto the next note, just to keep that string ringing. You need to come down, you don't need to come down quite hard, but you need to come down quite confidently on top of the string, and keep that fretted quite confidently as well, just so that the note keeps ringing. A lot of people kind of go on too soft that it stops the string vibrating. So what you're looking for is that second note to be the same volume as the first, basically. And same with that third note as well. So that could be just the first kind of rescale pattern that you use. Just 3 notes straight up. And when I'm pulling off with this pinky here, just pulling it slightly towards the floor. To reveal this note again. So all I'm doing is just going straight up. And I'm not putting any right hand in this, I'm just picking that very first note. I'm just trying to make sure all of that's nice and even, and I'm not using too much pressure in with the left, I'm not squeezing too hard. I am just trying to get enough pressure to get the notes out. And when I go on with these 2 fingers, with the second finger and the fourth finger, I am kind of releasing the pressure. I'm not breaking contact with the string, but I'm releasing the pressure off of the first finger, so I'm not keeping that squeezed in, clamped down all the time, and that kind of just creates a lot more kind of tension and tightness through the hand and kind of forearm. So as you go on here, I'm kind of releasing this first finger, but I'm not taking it off the string. And you would do the same on the G string there. And if I zoom out just a wee touch, now you can see the right hand here. I'm just going to try and keep this, the back of the right hand heel here, the karate chop part of the hand, on the lower strings underneath the string that I'm not playing. So if I'm on the D string here, I'm leaning this across the E string and the A string, and I'm draping this first finger down. So I'm playing more on the finger print part of the hand rather than right on top of the tip. So I'm playing on the print part, which then lets my first finger drape over the high strings to keep them nice and quiet. So I'm playing on one string, but I'm keeping 5 other strings nice and quiet, half with the right hand and half with the left hand. Nice one. And then on at the G string, just try that same thing again. Okay, now we can move this shape now. We're going to try that same scale that we're playing, but we're just going to move the shape down to frets 2, 2, 4 and 5. And that gives us fingers 1, 3 and 4 to play with now. And then with the same shape. And that just to help build a bit of strength and coordination between the third finger and the pinky. And the next scale shape we can use is frets 5, 7 and 9. So we'll try to keep this thumb down nice and low in the back. I use fingers 1, 2 and 4 for this. You might see people like Paul Gilbert and stuff use 1, 3 and 4, whatever's comfortable for you. I would just go with that. So again, we'll just try to keep this nice, and this is quite a stretchy one if you're not used to this. Cool. So you can build up the strength, and that's your 3 basic scale fragments that you'll probably ever use if you're just playing major or minor without getting kind of weird in melodic or harmonic minor scales. So those are the basic kind of scale fragments that we use. Then what we can do is start to mix these up a wee bit. So start to add some pull-offs in, so we can go straight up and then back to the second note, back to the first note. So we're just rolling up and rolling back down. And same on the G string. We can try this other pattern, the 2, 4 and 5 pattern. Try and keep it nice and even, unlike what I just did there. And on the G string. And on the 5, 7, 9 pattern. excellent for building some strength up. Now what you can do is start to kind of combine these shapes together. So there's a slide from, let's call this 2, 4 and 5. Let's call that pattern number 1. And let's call the next one pattern number 2 and the next one pattern number 3. So we can go straight up. And slide up into pattern number 2 with the pinky. So remember, keep that pinky fretted. And a nice confident slide in there to keep the string vibrating. And you can see as I'm sliding here, I've got these 2 fingers, first and second fingers, kind of moving in behind, just getting ready to come down that next pattern. So I've got them already there to come down to here. And I can do the next pattern here, position 2, pattern 2 into pattern 3. 4, 5, 7. 4, 5, 7. Slide up to 9. And back down to fret 5. And I'm only just picking the first note on each string. Pick, pick. Now, let's try and come down to the next pattern there. So let's take pattern number 2 again. So another thing to try is just go and pull off from the top. But what you're going to practice here is, instead of picking, so you can pick the first note, this one, 7, 5, 4, and then don't pick the D string. Just hit that pinky down to make that note sound. So no pick on that D string. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to hammer that note down. And then pull off to the rest of them. So then you can combine the slide with those pull-offs there. And I'm trying to keep this in kind of groups of 3. So the way I'm kind of thinking about this in my head is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we get to this one here. You can now practice the slide up again into the next pattern, position 3, with the first finger. That guy. And I guess you can see where this is going to go now, up onto the G string there. So you can get nice kind of smooth sound if you get those slides nice and even. Another thing you can kind of look at here is sliding back through those positions with the pinky on the top string, like when you get to the top here. So slide back from position 3, from 9 till 7, back down 5-4, then 7-5-4 on the D string, and then you're on the first finger, so you can slide this one back down to position number 1, I suppose. So you're practicing sliding with the pinky up and the first finger up, slide up, come back down, slide first finger up, slide pinky down, slide first finger down, and then you can make that a nice kind of cycling, repeating pattern to build up the strength. So the left hand positioning is quite important, that this thumb stays down, the fingers don't travel too far, they've got to stay nice and close to the strings. You're really only picking the starting note of each string. Pick, 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 pick. So that's all I'm picking on the way up. I'm only picking on the first pattern and the third pattern. So in fact I'm only picking 3 times. I'm picking on the first one, I'm picking on the second string, and sliding up. I'm not picking anything on that second pattern. I'm not picking anything there, and I'm picking on the G string on pattern 3. I'll try and play that properly again, my mind went wandering there, sorry. And then on the way back down, so I'm really only picking when I'm crossing to the G string. Anything coming down the way, I'm not picking anything at all on those strings. Right. Another kind of wee pattern you can use, so instead of just playing straight up and straight down, is to mix these patterns up. So a really good one that everyone pretty much uses is this configuration of notes, or this kind of direction of notes. So let's take the G string and we'll go 7, 4, 5, 7. So that's the first part. And then back down again. That configuration there. So it's a group of kind of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you're back to the start with the pinky again. 7, 4, 5, 7, 5, 4. So that kind of note, that order of notes happens all the time in kind of rocky guitar solos. And again, I would take that through these kind of shapes. And then I would start combining the sliding stuff and just rolling up and down with that pattern. So it's just going up on the D string, and then on the G string I'm using the kind of fancier pattern. string number 2, 4, 5, 7. Then part number 3, 5, 7, 9. And then we can join those 3 together. With a slide with the pinky and then straight down the part, straight down to the start note of that next part. So you can play about with this kind of stuff forever, basically. Those are really good patterns, just to kind of play up and down. If you're just getting into this stuff and you're very just starting to play hammer-ons and pull-offs, it's left hand positioning is more important than everything else, and getting these notes even without your fingers travelling too far, and getting nice kind of even pull-offs. Without pulling the string. You don't want to pull it out of tune, so you just want to tweak it. That's more important than kind of anything else just to begin with. Then it's kind of, like we said, just kind of a quick recap, rolling up the string, and then rolling back down. You can maybe put the slide in there and then play the next pattern. So I'm just basically trying to keep the string vibrating. I'm not caring too much about timing or anything like that. I'm just trying to keep the note volume at a consistent level and keeping the string vibrating, especially when I'm just moving through those shapes like that. That's really all I'm kind of thinking about there. And again, it's all about left hand positioning, being in the right place, fingers don't travel too far, and just trying to get used to transitioning between these these 3 shapes, between 1, 3, 5, with the fingers 1, 3, 5, fingers 1, 2, 4, and fingers 1, 2, 4 again, with a stretchier shape. And I would keep that just to kind of that minimum at the moment, just on 2 strings, the D string and the G string to begin with. It gets slightly trickier on the higher strings, and it's even trickier on the lower strings. But that's just a wee kind of starter on hammer-ons and pull-offs, legato playing, as they call it in the guitar world. We'll expand on this in the coming weeks, and I will speak to you soon. So see you later. Bye.